going on, trading card game players? Figs here with Figs Form, bringing you guys another rendition of Phantom Knights. So I want to go ahead and showcase for you guys my 60 card Phantom Knight list. It actually is basically a pile. We're utilizing the Phantom Knight engine. We're utilizing Goblin Bikers. We're also utilizing a few one card combos like Tour Guide, Speedway Terratop. And then we're also playing Fiendsmith, and we're also playing Azamina. So we're just trying to utilize some of the best engines right now. And it works really well. You know, with the deck at 60, we are not playing grass, but we are having the ability to spread thin a lot of the cards that we don't want to see. And we actually do have a lot of cards in the deck currently that are 1 card starters and some 1.5 card starters. So I want to go ahead and showcase that for you guys at the end of the video. So I won't take too much of your time talking, of course. So let's go and get into the list, and then we'll get into the combo. Alright, so as I said, 60 card list. We'll start with the Phantom Knight cards. I won't put too much detail on anything that's not necessary, but 3 Torrent Scale, 3 Boots, 2 Cloak, 1 Gloves, 2 Fog Blade, 1 Wing, and 1 Rank Up Magic. So the Rank Up Magic is for Ophion. Ophion's insane in this format currently, especially with everyone still playing Fiendsmith, people playing Azamina. I think that Ophion on this end board is great, especially when it's backed up by a bunch of Omni Negates. Torrent Scale, as I said, is a 1.5 card starter. So we are, of course, playing our Boots, since we are playing multiple copies of Phantom Knights to set up our rank 3 plays. And then we have to play the Ragged Gloves, because when we are doing Cloak and or doing Torrent Scales and Cloak, then we do have to actually utilize Ragged Gloves in order for us to continue comboing. And I'll showcase that for you guys later, but that's it for the Phantom Knight cards. Then we have our Goblin cards. So we have 3 of the Dug Charger, 1 Sploder, 1 Merciless, 1 Wild, and 3 of the Breakout. So Breakout's actually really insane. This card came out in the newest set for Goblin Biker support, and this is what actually allows us to have a 1 card full, this as 1 card, but you have to tribute a monster for it. But this basically gets you into Bardiche, which allows you to full combo. And obviously we have other cards in here that allow us to utilize setting up additional things for our board. But this card's absolutely insane. It allows you to be able to actually play around hand traps in certain situations. Dug Charger is a 1 card combo in himself, because you normal or special this and you get this. And then this allows you to tribute him. Summon Gone Wild, which is also from the newest set. He specials 1 from deck, which gets you Sploder. Sploder brings back Charger, and that gives you your 2 level 3s and your Dark for Bardiche. So it is full combo. We are playing the Merciless because we are playing Tour Guide, so it gives us another target as a Fiend, but also it allows us to unbrick any combo in which we open up these and gives us an additional body. So if we do, for example, open up, let's say Sploder, then we're able to do Charger into Gone Wild into Merciless, Merciless into Sploder, and then Sploder into Charger. So it actually gives us 4 bodies instead of 3. So I like that a lot. So it's never really too bad of a thing opening up some of these. Even if you open up this, I mean, it's not the worst thing. Again, you're able to bring it back from the grave. So if you have this and this, it's full combo. But that's it for the Goblin cards. And then, as I said, we're playing some 1 card starters. So we are playing the Speedway Terratop with the Brick the Takitomborg. We're playing the 3 Tour Guide and the 2 Kagamusha Knight. So I opted to play Kagamusha Knight because we do actually have a lot of normal summons in the deck. Between a lot of the Goblin cards and the Phantom Knight cards, including Tour Guide, we have a lot of summons. We're also playing Rhoda, so it's technically like playing a 3rd copy. But I didn't want to play 3 because I don't want to see a ton of this card. But, you know, obviously playing Rhoda means we're like playing 3. But Rhoda also gives us access to Charger because he's a warrior, and Torrent Scale. And both of those cards also allow us to play. So I wanted to basically have some protection and extension with playing the Kagamusha Knight, but I also wanted to, you know, have some flexibility in being able to search some of our starters. So I do like this a lot. And then, of course, you know, Kagamusha Knight can chain block the Tour Guide and the Dug Charger to allow us to be able to resolve it. Then we're playing the 3 Bellstar, 3 Wanted, 1 Azamina, and 3 Deception. So we're playing this just for the Omni, just so that way we can, you know, do something more than just summon 2 level 3s. We want to be able to, you know, try to have some kind of Omni negate, have some kind of protection. And it's also very great for our end board. If we go uninterrupted, we're going to end on basically like 2 to 3 negates with also the Fiendsmith stuff and playing Desiree. We have access to Caesar, which also gives us protection from Bestials, as well as Nibiru. So I like this a lot. And again, you're just using it for the Azamina stuff, nothing more. Generally, when you loop through and you start setting up your cards, you're basically just looking to just set up an Omni. Also, she's dark, so in the worst case, if you need her to extend, obviously she extends very well for Bardiche. Then we'll get into the Fiendsmith stuff. So we got 1 Lacrima, the 1 Lurie with Tract, and then we have the 3 Fiendsmith Engraver. So I opted to basically play the full package, just because we do, again, want to see these cards when we're playing into a board and setting up a board. These 2, not so much. Well, these 3, not so much. But these we do want to see because it allows us to be able to utilize our combo. Based on the amount of bodies that we do have, we are also able, because of Lacrima, to make Desiree as well as make Caesar. But generally what we're doing is we're setting up Desiree, and then we're basically setting up our combo from there. And then for everything else that's not engine, we're playing 3 Ash Blossom. I mean, technically it's a level 3, so with Kakamusha you can technically do plays. But we're doing the Ash Blossom obviously for all of the Molt Charmy cards. That way we have protection from being able to allow our opponent to just draw freely. Because this deck does go through the extra deck actually very thin. 3 Book of Eclipse. This gives us protection on our turn, but also allows us to break a board. And I think this card's absolutely insane right now. 3 Droplet. We're playing Phantom Knights. And, obviously we do board breakers. So we're trying to, have the best options for being able to deal with our opponent's board. And then we have 2 talents and 1 call by. So this is obviously for Shifter, for the Charmies. And then also, this is great for playing into a board. Also, if we get hand trapped, we're able to draw more cards to keep playing. Or we're able to see our opponent's hand. And then the 1 Rhoda. So 60 cards, as I said. The Rhoda's in here to allow us to be able to search some of our 1 card starters, or our 1.5 card starters, I should say. The extra deck, we got the 1 Sylvia. That's for the Azamina line. We have 2 Breaksword. So we want to play 2 just because of the fact that 1 just never feels like enough. We're using 1 to set up our end board. And then we want to have 1 on the follow-up just in case. I mean, if Bardiche survives, then it gives us 2 pops and allows us to be able to finish out the game. 1 Gabanga. This is actually very important because 2 level 3s gives us full combo into Fiendsmith and into our Bardiche. So this card's very important, and you always want to try to make sure to resolve this, which is why we're playing Omnis and other cards that allow us to basically kind of play around what our opponent throws at us. The 1 Ophion. Like I said, this is very important for our end board because obviously he's very insane right now. He gives us very good protection in this format. So I think Ophion's absolutely great. The 1 Caesar, because we're playing the Necro Equip with our Fiendsmith engine. So we wanted to make sure that we're utilizing as much of the protection that these engines give us as possible. And then we've got our 1 Bardiche, our 1 Cherubini, our IP, and our SP. So obviously these are like our important like Phantom Knight cards. This is too ideal for how we set up our boards because these cards are just too important. They all are utilized in the way that we need to in order to actually abuse what our engines do. And then we have the 1 Desiree, the 1 Moon, Requiem, and Sequence. So the extra deck is very tight, as you can see. I wanted to keep playing Arc Rebellion and Raiders Knight just so that we do have a going second option to OTK, but we have so much removal with all of these engines. I mean, between Desiree, the Requiem, we're playing SP, Sylvia's an Omni, Breaksword pop stuff. Gabanga is actually very good for playing into a board as well because with his ability of getting Doug Charger and detaching, he can actually steal a monster. And then also the other new Goblin Biker, the level 6, he can also take 1 and put it under a Goblin XYZ. So it's like you have so much ways of being able to deal with your opponent's board, and he actually targets any card, not even just monster. So like I said, we have so many options of being able to deal with our opponent's board that I felt like playing into a board is just, it's naturally what the deck does in terms of building a board and breaking a board. And it still does that even without the Arc Rebellion. You just don't have the OTK button. So yeah, that's it for the main and the extra. Let's go ahead and showcase you guys some of the combos here. That way you can see how we're playing the 1 card, and I'll go through full combo with like the best scenario and then the worst, and maybe we'll do like a draw hand, like a hand, random hand, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started with the Phantom Knight cards first, just so that way I can showcase for you what happens if you open up just Torn Scale and a card to pitch. So we'll go with our normal summon. We'll activate his effect. We'll discard to the grave, get ourselves a Cloak. Cloak will banish and grab ourselves the Boots. We'll special the Boots, go into Gabanga. Gabanga effect is going to search us our Charger. Then we're going to go ahead and detach and summon the Charger. Charger is going to search. He's actually going to get us our Breakout. And then we're going to go right into our Fiendsmith stuff. So we'll go ahead and we'll link those 2. Into Moon, Moon into Requiem, Requiem into Lacrima. Lacrima effect will go ahead and send Fiendsmith Engraver. And what I like about this is that the Breakout's going to allow us to be able to basically dodge anything that our opponent has. Imperm, Veiler, so all the way up to Sequence, we're pretty much safe. So we're going to activate, and we're going to go ahead and put back the Moon, summon. We'll link 2 into Sequence. And then we'll activate Sequence to go ahead and make Desiree. And then we'll shuffle back 1, 2, 3. And then we'll go ahead and activate Breakout. So that's going to summon us our Gone Wild. Gone Wild summons from the deck. So we'll go ahead and grab Sploder. And then Sploder is going to summon from Grave. So we'll go ahead and get the Charger. And then we can go ahead and equip Sequence. And then we're going to do these two for Cherubini. Cherubini effect. We're going to go ahead and dump the Ragged Gloves. And then we'll go ahead and link 3 for Bardiche. Bardiche effect. We'll go ahead and set Wings. Because in this scenario, we do have to burn our Ragged Gloves. So we want to make sure that we have instant access to our Ophion during our opponent's turn. Well, at least during the main phase. So we're going to set this, and then we're also going to send another Torn Scale. Send that. And then we'll go ahead and we'll activate Gloves to send to Grave Fogblade. Then we'll Fogblade, targeting the boots. And you can send Cloak just to get a boost and stuff. But we're just doing it this way because we're just showcasing the combo. So these, overlay for Breaksword, pop, bring them back as level 4s, and then leak them away for IP. And then we're going to go ahead and activate Boots to grab our rank up magic. And then we'll set, and then we'll pass. So we're ending on 2 negates, 2 interruptions with IP, 1 pop with Bardiche, and then we actually have protection because we're going to basically, during our opponent's turn, at some point, we'll just activate Wings when we want to interrupt them, then do the Wings into Breaksword, and then we'll get our pop on Bardiche, and then we can activate our rank up magic and make Ophion. So basically 1.5 card gives us all of this, uninterrupted, of course. So just the idea of being able to have just 1 Torn Scale leads us into our full combo here. So it's really nice. I mean, obviously that's, you know, a very broken end board, especially if our opponents let us play interrupted. So I'll show you guys another combo with just a regular extender and maybe a couple different cards. All right, so I'll showcase it for you guys with just Doug Charger. If we have just Doug Charger, it's actually very simple. You just normal summon, get the Breakout, activate Breakout, sending Doug Charger, and then we'll get Gone Wild. Gone Wild will summon from deck Sploder, and then Sploder will get Charger. And then from there, just normal, just Phantom Knight stuff. 2 level 3s equals Cherubini. Cherubini will send Cloak, or you can send Torn Scales, and then we'll do Bardiche. So as you can see, like, it's a 1 card combo to actually do our whole thing, to do our Bardiche line, I should say, which is really nice. Cloak is going to get Boots. Trigger Torn. And I forgot to set a trap, so we'll just set a Fogblade. Because in this scenario, we don't have to do anything weird. In this moment, whatever random card you have, you'll discard. You always want to send Ragged Gloves or the trap immediately. I like sending the trap immediately if I don't need the Ragged Gloves, just in case. Level 3s, pop, bring them back as 4s. IP Masquerena. And then we'll go ahead and do Boots, Chain Wings, summon Breaksword. Boots will resolve, get us our rank up into Ophion. And I'm always summoning Ophion during my turn. I don't wait until my opponent's turn because there's too many ways for them to actually start playing in the midst of things. So yeah, 1 card gives us 1 pop, 2 interruptions with SP, a Floodgate, and a Fogblade. So pretty good, especially for just the Doug Charger. All right, so in this scenario, both of these cards are 1 card starters, but basically, I just want to show you, they're both the same. So Terratop is going to get you your Take Tomborg, and then you're just going to overlay them into Gabanga. And it's the same thing with Tour Guide. You're going to normal summon Tour Guide, get any Fiend. It could be Merciless. Unless you have a Goblin in hand, then don't. But Tour Guide, Gabanga. So these lines are basically the same for either or. Gabanga will then search the Doug. Doug will detach to search the Breakout. And then from there, you're doing Fiendsmith stuff. So same line as everything. The line is basically the same, and it just depends on what other cards you're opening, and I'll show you guys that here. If you open up one of the Goblin cards that's not Merciless, you can still full combo, and I just wanted to show you how you basically just get a little bit more. So Tour Guide will get not Merciless, like I said, because in this moment you are going to need the Merciless. So overlay these 2 for Gabanga. Gabanga effect is going to search out the Doug Charger. Then Doug is going to detach, summon, search the Breakout, Fiendsmith stuff. And we're always usually ending on Sequence Desiree, just because of the fact that, you know, we're going to need a body to tribute off of the Breakout. And 9 times out of 10, they're usually going to try to hand trap this. So you can just go Breakout in response to his activation and then return everything. So in this moment, we would go Moon with these 2. We would go Moon, Moon into Requiem, Requiem into Lacrima. Lacrima will send Engraver. We'll bring back the Engraver by shuffling back the Moon. We'll make Sequence, and Sequence will shovel everything back. We end up actually with not a single Fiendsmith card engraved. So we're basically here. We'll go ahead and do Breakout. Breakout will tribute Sequence. And that's where we're going to summon the Merciless. Merciless effect is going to summon the Gone Wild. Gone Wild is going to summon Sploder. And then Sploder is actually going to grab Gabanga. And the reason why this matters is because this is actually going to give us another interaction just for opening up one of our bricks. The Merciless is going to give us the extra body. So Sploder actually brings back any Goblin monster. So we're going to bring back the Gabanga. Then we're going to go ahead and do these for Cherubini. Cherubini is going to send Cloak. We're going to go ahead and do these two for Bardiche. And of course, immediately equip the Sequence. Don't forget, like I am. Then we'll do Bardiche effects. We'll set our Fog Blade. We'll send our Torn Scale. We'll go ahead and banish the Cloak. Cloak is going to get us Boots. We'll special. We'll discard the one card to go ahead and send the Wings. We'll special overlay. Break Sword Pop. Bring them both back as level 4s. Link them away for IP. And then we'll go ahead and banish the Boots. Chaining the Wings. Summon the Break Sword. Get rank up. Activate rank up to get our Ophion. And so the reason why this matters is because end phase Gabanga is going to trigger, and you're actually going to put a Goblin monster and under him as an attachment. So what this is going to do is this is going to give us an additional interruption, but also giving us a body for IP. So if your opponent summons something and you want to steal it, you're actually going to activate Exploder. During your opponent's main phase, you can detach one from a Goblin and summon him. So since this was detached, his effect's going to activate, and you're going to be able to steal one of your opponent's monsters and put it under him as an attachment. And then you're going to have the body for IP. So then you can IP into SP. So it gives us actually additional interruption, gives us an extra body for us to be able to utilize for IP without having to get rid of something important. But I do actually like Desiree with IP because it does give us an additional interaction. If I use Desiree's effect to negate something, you can always go IP with these two, make SP, and then do like Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 Desiree, putting back the Sequence to send something. So it's really nice. It gives you as much interruption. But again, that's a one card combo in most situations, depending on your hand. And that's from opening up a brick. So it's not usually the worst thing to actually open up one of the Goblin names, just because of the fact that you are able to create that type of extension and give yourself an additional interruption. So I'll showcase the rest of the combo with like a normal hand, and then we'll do a random hand. All right, so we'll go ahead and do just like a really good hand here. I mean, obviously these two are just going to be random cards just to have, but I just want to show you guys what obviously the deck is capable of with all of the engines in your options. And then we'll do like a random hand so I can show you guys what I have. So in draw, we'll do Wanted. We're going to grab the Dia Bellstar because we are able to set up actually a lot, even just with this alone. So Wanted. Go to main phase. We'll special summon the Terratop. Terratop's effect is going to get us Take Tomborg. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the Dia Bellstar summon effect. That's going to get us Deception. We're going to activate Deception. We're not keeping the Black Witch. We're going to go ahead and use this to get the Hallowed. We'll activate it, sending to summon Sylvia. And we'll put Sylvia in this zone here. And then we're going to go ahead and do Engraver to get ourselves Tracked. Tracked will get Lurie. And then Lurie will summon. And then we'll go ahead and get rid of Lurie for Engraver. Engraver for Lacrima. And then Lacrima effect will send Engraver. And then we'll go ahead and equip. We'll make Necro equip. And then we'll go ahead and bring back Engraver by returning Requiem. And then overlay these two for High King Caesar. So then what we're going to do is we're going to special summon. We're going to overlay these two for Gabanga. Gabanga's effect is actually going to get us the Dark Charger. Then we're going to go ahead and activate Dark Charger. Detach to grab, or detach to summon. And that's going to grab our Breakout. Then we're going to link 2. Then we're going to link 2 into Moon. If you have a normal summon, that's where this would be important because you're actually just going to be able to normal summon and make Sequence. And then you can make Desiree. Which at this point, you're hoping that your opponent interrupts you in some way, shape, or form just because of the fact that your board is actually going to get too full. So in this moment, if you want to just link those two away, you can, just to do breakout and then do your full combo. So you would distribute it because you need zones. So the problem is you do have to summon 3 monsters. So if you are able to do this with a normal summon, you would then normal summon to make sequence, but then your Desiree places here, and now you have only 2 zones open. And you're not able to actually be able to go into full combo at that point unless you use Sylvia. So you would actually do, like if you linked into sequence, activate Desiree's effect, and we shuffled back 3. So let's say we do those 3. So we shuffle back 3, and then we do breakout. We would tribute this. We would get Sploder. Sploder effect would just get us Stug. So now we just only have these 2. So we're able to go Cherubini. We do lose access to an Omni, but we still end on more interruption. And then this effect will send us Cloak. And then we do have to use the Silva to make room on our board. Bardiche, Bardiche effect. And then just normal combo. Torrent Scales, Banish for Cloak. We're going to send that for the discard. Those are both engraved. We're going to search this. This will be banished. This will be banished. This will be banished. We will have brought them both back, made Break Sword, made IP. And then we would just do the trap. So we would do, which we banished already, to summon, and then activate rank up to make Ophion. So, I mean, as you can see, literally that line alone left us with only 4 monsters in our extra deck. That's why I'm playing the 3 Ash and the 1 Call By, just to be able to avoid having to deal with the Charmy cards. But even then, like, I played under Charmy before and still won, just because this deck just does so much. I mean, this end board is pretty nuts, especially when you're utilizing all of the different engines, because you do have access to double Omni, obviously with the Fiendsmith stuff, and then you're able to pretty much, have, 2 interruptions here, 1 here, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a Floodgate, and Fogblade. And in the worst situation, if you do have to use Silva in order to make your Bardiche, and you do have access in your hand to another Sinful Spoils card, and make sure you're putting this back on your field at the end phase. But if you do have access to another Sinful Spoil cards, let's say we actually did Wanted and put the Deception back, and we drew into, let's say, just another Deception, and you use Sylvia, you can actually just return the Sylvia that you used for your Bardiche, get Hollow back, and just make it again. Because his summoning is not a once per turn, it's just his effect is once per turn. So if you use him, or you use his effect to negate something, or you use him to make Bardiche, then you are able to just bring him back at the end and have access to him on your end board. So, I mean, this utilizes a lot, and it's actually very good. I do like it a lot. That's why it's 60 cards, because you're kind of just flooding out all of the bad cards, or all the bricks, and, trying to put yourself in a position to just see a 1-card starter with protection. And I do like it a lot, because, I mean, that's one of the things that we just were lacking as, a Phantom Knight player, and as a player who, plays a lot of the level 3s. We don't have access to a lot of the 1-card combos like all the other decks do. So let me go ahead and I'll shuffle this up, do a random hand, and that'll be the end of this video for you guys. All right, now that we got that all shuffled up, we'll go ahead and draw a random hand and see how good or bad it is. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. So basically, we're going to be able to utilize all of our engines here. So we'll do draw phase. We'll activate Wanted, and I apologize, this deck is big, so it will take me a second to search for some of these cards, as you can see. So we got our Diabell Star, and then we'll go into the main phase. We'll summon the Terratop effect. And nobody ever interacts with the Terratop, let's be honest. I mean, no one's ever touching it. It's a free summon. It gets a free body. The most that happens is you get drolled. That's worst case, and that is actually very bad, especially for how we play this deck. Then we're going to go ahead and do Diabell Star, just so that we can get that going. We'll go ahead and pitch the Cloak, so that way we do have the right cards. Activate. That will get us our Deception. And even here in this situation, you could actually keep the Black Witch on board so that we can go into Caesar instead. Since we're going to have access to an Omni, so we can set the Deception, we can activate it, actually send the Torn Scales. We're going to have to end up pitching the Book of Eclipse though later for the Torn Scale, or unless we get a good draw off the Wanted. So we'll grab the Azamina spell. We'll do this, send both of these. Make Sylvia. And we'll special. So now we have access to our Omni, which is nice. Gabanga. It's going to get us... We'll grab that while we're in here. Dark Charger. Dark Charger will summon to detach. Search this. Then we'll link these two. And we'll do our Fiendsmith stuff. So we'll go ahead and do Moon. Moon into Requiem. Requiem effect. We'll go ahead and grab Lacrima. Lacrima effect to send Engraver. We'll equip the Requiem and do those two for Necro Equip. And then we'll go ahead and activate Engraver. Putting back Moon, actually. Summon Engraver. And then we'll overlay these two for High King Caesar. And then we'll go ahead and do Breakout. Sending the Black Witch. That's going to get us Gone Wild. Gone Wild effect's going to get us Sploder. And then Sploder is going to get us the Charger. And then we'll go ahead and do our 2/3s. We already have all of our Phantom Knight stuff in there. So, I mean, we're basically just sending extra stuff for next turn or for follow-up. But I usually like to send the stuff that we need. So, like, we don't even have to pitch now for the Torrent Scale because we have the Ragged Gloves. Since we had the extra names already from the beginning. Rusty effect. So we're actually going to have more interruption because we're going to be able to keep our Book of Eclipse. So we'll set it. We'll set that. And we'll go ahead and put a Cloak Engrave for follow-up. And then we'll do Cloak. Banish to add boots. We will trigger Torn. Special. And like I said, we don't have to discard, so we can overlay these two. Break Sword Pop, bring them back as level 4s. Link them away for IP. And then we'll go ahead and we'll do Gloves Ascend and Boots to add. Since we're going in here, we're going to add that and we're going to send our wings. We're going to activate Wing to bring back Break Sword. And then we'll activate Rank Up Magic to make Ophion. And so then we do, so in this situation, we're always going to be able to get an additional draw, which I do like. That's why I do like this engine a lot too, is that you're always going to have the ability to actually draw an extra card if needed. So we'll cut, and then this on the bottom to draw. We drew Engraver. So I just wanted to showcase this for you guys. I apologize for the length of the video. I just wanted to show you guys all the potential things that we can do. And what we have, access to with a lot of the 1-card combos now with the, Goblin stuff. So hope you guys enjoy. Like and subscribe as always.